Breguet Boutique on 5th Avenue here in New York City, and I'm super stoked because we're going to talk about a Breguet watch, and it's not the one on my wrist. You guys have already heard me talk about this at length. It's in my most worn watches of 2024 video. It's a perpetual calendar, but ironically, while this is a perpetual calendar, the watch we're about to look at, which is in honor of Breguet's 250th anniversary, is actually quite simple, at least on the surface. Most people would have thought we'd be getting a tourbillon watch, but actually what we're getting is a watch that has just one hand. So why does it have just one hand? The new Breguet Classique Souscription 2025 is based on Breguet's subscription pocket watches. So in 1796, it's really the first time this sort of subscription term came into play. And then a year later, that's when I guess this sort of subscription process really hit the market, for lack of a better phrase. So what is a subscription? Well, basically, instead of just producing a bunch of watches and then trying to sell them in a store or what have you, the watches were built upon commission or subscription of the piece. So somebody would put down 25% of the price, and then Breguet would make the watch, and then the client would come back and pick it up and be super stoked. So the Breguet subscription pocket watch that this is taking direct inspiration from is a watch that has a white enamel dial and has a single hand. And so that's why we're seeing that here in this subscription or Classique Souscription 2025. It's a Grand Faux white enamel dial. And then you have the, of course, obligatory Breguet numerals surrounding the outer perimeter. And in its center, you have one steel Breguet hand, the open-tipped hand, that is hand flamed blue. They refer to the sapphire crystal as a chevre crystal. So basically what that means is that the crystal is really quite flat, but as you just get to the edge, you'll see this subtle sort of doming. And I really like that because it doesn't make the watch too thick. Which, speaking of thickness, we've got a case that is 40 millimeters in diameter and just 10.8 millimeters thick. It's made out of Breguet's new gold alloy, and it's called Breguet Gold. What that means is you've got 75% gold and then an undisclosed mixture of the other remaining 25% of silver, copper, and palladium. The result, and all you really need to know, is that it's not quite yellow gold, it's not quite rose gold. I would say it leans closer to yellow with a tint of rose. It's a color that I really like, and I think most of you will as well. But looking at the case, there's a few things that are noticeably different to the trained Breguet eye, let's say, if you're a real Breguet fan. So most people, when they think of Breguet, at least in the modern era, you would think about a fluted caseband. But here we don't have that. We actually have a delicately brushed caseband. And we also don't have soldered lugs. It's all really one piece. But what this ultimately means, the trade-off of it, if you're so attached to a fluted caseband, is Breguet watches can have quite longer lug-to-lug spans. These lugs, while I don't have an exact lug-to-lug measurement, there's much more of a camber and they're much more compact in length, which makes the watch on the wrist, and if you have a smaller wrist like mine, which is give or take around 6.5 inches, it's more wearable. Most Breguet watches, like there's a reason why I like my 36. Most Breguet watches, when they get to 40, like I can wear them, but it's not like my super ideal fit. This, when I put it on, it suited much better because of this new lug profile. So I think that's a total win. But interestingly, like I said, so you don't have the fluted caseband, and you also don't have screwed bars for the case or for the strap. So you can actually remove these straps with your typical spring bar tool. So if you were to put on a strap that is not this perfectly color matched to the blue Breguet numerals and blued hand alligator leather strap, you could have quick release straps on here and just, switch between them at your leisure. But anyway, so Grand Faux enamel, white dial, all executed pretty much exactly in the style of the original pocket watch. But what you do have on this dial that you don't have on the original is Breguet, clear Breguet branding at 12 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, however, that's where you see the secret Breguet signatures that were originally invented to prevent counterfeiting, to have this sort of secret hallmark. But now in an internet era, everybody knows about the secret signature, so it's not so secret. If you look closely, and it probably won't even be picked up on the camera, you'll see the word subscription, the random serial number, and then the Breguet logo once again branded. And this is done exactly how the secret signatures were done back in the 1790s. So it's done with a pantograph. A pantograph is basically a diamond tip machine that it's a mimicry machine. So what it will do is somebody will handwrite the word subscription, the number, and the Breguet logo. And then this machine will effectively mimic that handwriting. And so it really creates, again, that, hand-guided, handmade feel. And this is a process that dates all the way back to the 1790s with the pocket watches. Now, speaking of the pocket watches, probably the thing that intrigues me the most about this watch, as beautiful as the dial is is the movement. So we have a new caliber, and this is the VS00 in-house Breguet movement. It's a 4-day movement, so it's got 96 hours of power reserve, all stored within a single barrel. And you'll notice that this is the style of caliber that you would find in a watch like the Tradition, because again, it's very pocket watch inspired. And if you were to look at the original subscription pocket watch, I'm talking about from, again, the late 1790s, it would look architecture-wise pretty much just like this. You've got the finger bridges that are gilded and frosted, and that frosted finishing to the bridges allows the hand-applied anglage to really shine through. Now, you'll notice at the bottom of the movement, you'll see the Breguet logo engraved, and you'll also see the number engraved. But if you look even closer at the center, where the barrel is, where that 4 days of power reserve is stored, you'll see an engraving on that as well. And what that text is, it's actually Breguet's own handwriting. So back in the 1790s, when Breguet, who was not just an innovative watchmaker, but also an innovative marketer, right? He came up with the subscription process, and there's no Instagram ads, there's no Facebook meta ads or whatever. So how do you advertise yourself? Well, you create pamphlets. And this writing is the exact writing that you would see on those pamphlets where he was advertising that people could come and subscribe to purchase his pocket watches. So yeah, that's a nice little neat twist. Okay, so here's the part that if you really like this watch, like myself, that you might want to crawl into the fetal position. The price of this watch is $48,700 US. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking that's a bit of sticker shock and that's a lot for a watch that just has one hand, right? We don't even have two hands here. But this really is paying homage to a very significant part of Breguet's history. This is a watch that will follow suit in terms of being a subscription watch. You will go to a Breguet boutique, you will place down a deposit, and that will confirm your order and allocation for it. So that actually is a really cool upside of this release. You would expect most brands for, say, a 250th anniversary to say, okay, we're making 250 of these and that's it. Breguet might make less, they might make more. It all depends on how many people will come into the store and subscribe to purchase this watch. Being a Breguet Gold case with this gilded movement that's done in the pocket watch style with all the hand decoration, again, it's certainly not inexpensive, but I think if you are a true Breguet fan, if you're a true fan of horology, then this would be a very interesting, cool, and handsome addition to have in your collection. But I want to know what you guys think. So let me know down in the comments. Does it bother you that only one hand is used to tell the time? I gotta be honest, at first I thought it would bug me, but having held this longer and longer, I'm starting to think I could get used to it. And to be clear, you can see the time up to every 5th minute. It's not just like you're stranded knowing only the hours here. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and see you on the next one.